rolling. Get this one rolling. Oh, yep, that's rolling. And then, all right, we are on.
On and popping.
Okay. So, this is just like a first run kind of something Ryan had approached me. Actually, I say he approached me. He didn't really approach me. I ran into him at a birthday party, and he had mentioned that this is something that he thought we would like to do. Me and him are always bullshitting, talking, anyways, as it is. Figured that we might as well, I don't know, let other people in on the conversation. Maybe you might find it interesting, maybe not. But either way, it's just a way to kind of stay in touch. Ever since the pandemic, I think people realized that there is a need for just kind of conversation, really. People enjoy it, believe it or not. This is just a medium that has taken off, so we're just throwing our hat in the ring. For no other reason than we like to talk, and now there's actually something to talk about. So that's actually, I invited him over here tonight. And but before we get started, so I don't know, just like it's a cool trend. Gonna try some different beers that I usually don't try. I know he usually don't try it because I gave him some. Mind you, they came from me, so it's something fruity. If it was him, it'd probably be like, I don't know, some malt beverage or something like that. What do you?
It'd be Miller Lite. It'd be Miller Lite. For sure. It'd be Miller Lite 100% of the time.
What are you drinking right now?
Tonight it's gonna be Mike's Hard Raspberry Lemonade. You know what I mean? It's gonna taste good. I know it's gonna taste good, but hopefully I don't get heartburn. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
And I'm gonna try. It's a Bloodline Blood Orange IPA, and it's 8%. So I don't know, but we'll try this. Hey, before you crack that, I also want you to try this. So this is called Basil Hayden. I haven't had it before this bottle. Andrew Malloy got me this actually for Christmas.
Shout out Andrew Malloy.
Yeah, shout out to Malloy. And this is really, really good actually. So we'll try this first. My man Ryan here is a bourbon man himself.
Absolutely.
And so I look forward to tasting that. And by the way, I need some coasters. I don't have any coasters.
I was just about to say that. I was like, this table was way too nice to not have coasters.
But I will get some. This will be the last time that there's glass on this table. But cheers.
Ooh, baby, that smells nice.
Oh, yeah. Damn, it does smell good. And I don't even shoot them back. I like it too much. I just like drink it casually, but.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. And then I think I'm gonna make it. Yeah, I'll be back.
Ooh.
So what's your first impression?
That's smooth as butter. That's all I gotta say. I mean, it gives you that bourbon deep down in your chest heat, that most bourbon people love, you know what I'm saying? But nah, man, that is, I think that the wine casket kind of like mellows out the bourbon flavor because it don't have that Jack like punch in the face.
Yeah, that's good. Again, shout out to Andrew Malloy.
Shout out to Andrew Malloy. For sure.
Okay, so I say that we were talking about doing this for a little bit, and then then an opportunity came up. So the opportunity that came up is something that like a really juicy subject that just happened. I think it happened a while, like maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, but I just found out about it this weekend. So I called Ryan and asked him if he had heard about it. He didn't, and I thought that, wow, this would be a really cool opportunity to discuss it, and you could kind of get like a live reaction because he hasn't really heard about it yet. So
absolutely not.
Here's what it is. Okay. So, and it's just like, this situation puts me in a tight spot because I actually know the person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't even not just like I know the person. I consider him a friend.
Okay.
Went golfing this past season together more than once. One of those occasions, it was just him and I for 18 holes. Like that's a long time. Yeah, that's a long time.
I've never had the pleasure yet, but I've heard it was a long time.
And I enjoy it. Like he was a good guy. I mean, I was really shocked to hear what I heard. And in fact, I didn't even necessarily believe it. Like the person who was telling me about it was like real hype and was upset.
I can imagine.
And almost to the point where I could tell they were like they felt some type of way that I wasn't upset when they were telling me, but I was taking it with a grain of salt. Like I didn't want to believe it, all right? And I wouldn't have believed it until I saw the video. Okay, and so again, what I'm talking about is there's a guy by the name of his name's Scott Berardinelli. You know him?
I do not.
Okay, so Scott Berardinelli, someone that a lot of people know, but he's real active. He's one time he was a teacher. He's involved with like sports. He has kids that are in sports that are good too. Good, not only good kids but good athletes.
Right.
So he's everywhere. I know him. I see him, talk to him all the time. Well, someone sent me a video, and again, I unless I seen the video, I was like reluctant. Even when I saw the video, I still am like trying to figure out a way like to explain it because I don't want to believe it. But either way, what happened was the video. It's a video of him sitting at a basketball game, and apparently it was an away basketball game. I don't even want to say where because I'm not sure. But anyway, Carroll. I don't know, but either way, it was an away basketball game, and some of the context is that apparently he was sitting in a student section that they were just kind of getting out of control. That's what someone told me that was like close to the situation. But either way, what they showed in this video, so someone apparently went behind him. And in the video, you can clearly see he's on his phone having a conversation with presumably his wife. And it says, basically somewhere in the text is like, these fucking niggers are thugs, basically.
Golly.
And like, you could clearly see it spelled out, fucking niggers are thugs. Acting like straight thugs or something like that. That's the gist of it. That's the gist of it. Basically, fucking describing kids.
And then I'm guessing he's surrounded by black people.
Presumably. Again, I don't know because I wasn't there, but just in the video, he's in a group of people that doesn't seem to be like all his friends. Put it like that.
Okay, I get it. I mean, man, that's tough because I mean, I understand why you don't want to believe it because you spent intimate time with this person. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to believe it. I believe it now.
No, it's when you see it, you know what I mean? Your eyes can only not believe so much. But man, I mean, I can only say like if I had a friend who behind closed doors was using that word in context of us, it's like, well, damn, is that how he thinks of me? Like we spent all this time together, all like on the low. I'm a nigga.
Yeah,
I might be a fucking thug nigga.
I don't know, man. It made me feel some type of way to the point like when I first saw it, I just like wasn't sure how to like react. I know how I felt. It's the sad part is it's not that unfamiliar of a film.
Right.
Some of you might actually be really surprised to hear that, but it's just the truth. Through the course of my short lifetime, I mean, I'm 39, which, I mean, to some of you might sound like old, but that's really not that long. No. But over the course of my time here on this earth, I have numerous examples of where people forget who's in the room, right? Mm-hmm. And like, so this is like not that unfamiliar, but at the same time, it was a shock because, again, it was someone that was so close to me, and it's like, not only is the person close to me, but he's close to a lot of people that I know and like can care about, my daughter, friends of mine's kids also that, that he had a significant part in her life. So that's the first part is just like, wow, it was shock. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a result of this, he's no longer a teacher. But all right, so this is the second part now. It's like, what do you think should happen? So what happened was, this is just from what I heard, but what happened was apparently he was approached by the school district, because the school district. So hold on, let me back up first. I think it was really interesting that how I found out about this was because apparently the person who took the video wasn't an Altoona native or friendly. It was actually from the visiting city. So
okay.
they had the video, shared it with the Altoona School District's like social media page, apparently.
Wow.
Right. So I guess, and if I have any of this wrong, feel free to correct me. So I guess he was contacted by the school district. Basically, they gave him the opportunity to resign versus being fired. And so he's no longer, I guess, an employee of the school district. But the reason why I bring that up is I actually had talked with, I was just talking about this with someone else, and they actually had a problem with that. They felt that he shouldn't have been afforded the opportunity to resign.
Right.
And they're, so again, I say I want to back up. I do want to back up because I want to ask you a question. One of the first things that entered my mind was like, how does someone get that video? Like, because you haven't seen the video.
No, I haven't.
But basically what happened is he's having a conversation on his phone and some operator moved in behind him close enough to get that on video.
Right.
So,
I mean, you got to be, I'm speculating here, but if you're in the stands, I imagine the guys, they had to have seen something to make them go behind him. Like something already, like he had a look on his face. They're jumping and getting rowdy and stuff. And I bet you if you got the view across the way, there was probably a look on his face was like, these niggas.
So you bring up a good point, which was, that's something that I kind of speculated about too. It was like, that doesn't just happen for any reason. You don't randomly just pick a person and just go up and record what they're doing on their phone. I just feel like, I said the same thing. I was like, what motivated them? Because there's two schools of thought on that particular aspect of this whole situation.
Absolutely.
And I shared both of them. I shared both the sentiment. The first one was, what the fuck are you doing videotaping someone's conversation on their phone? Number one, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I'm like, well, you don't just randomly do that. Like, what? Someone must have heard something, or saw something that raised their antennas.
I got you.
Okay?
Got you.
So that's the first and foremost. So that's that. But then I ask you, how do you feel? Do you feel that is just? That if you having a private conversation with presumably your wife,
mm-hmm.
and somebody gets a hold of that, and then that information is held against you, what is your take on that?
Man, that's like a double-edged sword almost, because on one hand, like, well, in the world we live in, you know what I mean, you being in technology field and all that jazz, like, you know, like anybody knows, your privacy is only as private as, you know what I mean, as the person literally behind you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, man, it's like, I kind of feel bad for dude, but I also don't, because, you know, I mean, he's talking about us, you know what I'm saying? Like, did he get what he deserved in retrospect? Like, I mean, like I said, it's like I do feel bad, kind of, you know what I mean? Because privacy is supposed to be private, but you're not in a private setting either. You're in a, and Lord only knows, I don't know how many people were around him already. And if I'm sitting behind him and I glance over and see, like, I got good eyesight. Did I see that? Did I see Nicker on that phone? I should jump off the page at me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's, man, you know, I don't even know.
Yeah,
because I'm utterly, like I said, this is the first time I'm hearing about this, and I feel bad for you because you befriended somebody you thought, and you know, you could have different feelings for you, but in our knowledge of history and whatnot, and believe me, I've been in plenty of situations coming from where we come from, where we've been called that, we're freaking thugs, and you niggas this and you niggas that, and I laugh at it. I laugh like today. I can at 40 years old, I can laugh at it now because it made me the person that I am today. You know what I mean? Like God did that for a reason. You know what I mean? He tried to make us harder by having this adversity put on us, and that's why I'm like with this dude. I'm like, man, because we got plenty of Caucasian friends.
Plenty.
Ton of them. Like, we live in a place where there are more white people than black people.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we went to high school, how many black people we graduated with?
Not a lot.
20 out of like 670 people?
Not a lot.
Don't quote me on them numbers, folks, but I mean, the difference was night and day.
Which is one of the reasons why I felt that you were the best person to have this conversation with, because you're one of the people that I can take to any gathering that I go to, whether there's people from the hood that we grew up with, or there's people from the company I'm currently working for. Like, you can fit into any crowd, you can navigate any crowd. So that's why I was very interested to see what your take is in particular, because I know this is something we dealt with for a very long time, right? So
how about this? I'll ask you this question. Do you think if he was black, he'd have had the option to resign over just straight being fired? I
don't know. I'm not sure, and I don't want to speculate too much, but I would say, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but I will say this, that I felt, when I first kind of understood that situation about how he's having a private conversation, presumably with his wife, and he's being punished for that, I felt that initially it was unjust, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, man, I want to be careful about punishing people for what they do in private, because number one, it is private, and also number two, I'm actually glad that I realized what his true feelings are.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And if people don't feel comfortable, even in a private setting, being honest, then it's almost like, when do you ever get to really see somebody's honest, true self?
Right.
And so, like, it's a slippery slope.
Oh.
But the reason why I don't feel bad, initially I was like questioning it, but I don't feel bad is because of one reason: the role that he's in, where he is responsible for mentoring and essentially having some influence on the future of young children.
Now, again, give me some retrospective on this. Was he coaching boys or girls?
So I know for a fact at least girls,
mm-hmm.
but I think boys too. But I know for a fact at least girls because he helped with my daughter's softball team.
Okay. So it'd be a problem for any parent of a colored child, we'll say. I don't like to use the word colored, but so like if it was my kid and I found out like you can't play for him, like you about to go to another school now.
And again, that's where I find it's tough because, like, for instance, he coached my daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
She loved him. As a coach, he was a good coach. That's what I'm saying. This is
a stab in the back almost.
It puts me in a really in an uncomfortable situation where I was like, I just didn't know like how to take it, because again, this isn't the first time. So let me just finish the thought on him though. So basically, what I realized though is that when you put yourself in that situation where you are in the public domain of helping everyone's kids,
right,
then you're under a different level of scrutiny than you or me who work for a private company.
Right.
We're not in the public sector. We're not given the responsibility of mentoring young children and shaping young children.
Yeah.
And it might not seem like a big deal now because they're young kids, but for instance, let's say you have two kids that at the high school level, which is one step removed from college where life actually gets real, right? So high school is like one step removed, but let's say you're in high school, you have two kids that are competing for a position or whatever, and they're equal, but you have equal skill wise,
mm-hmm.
but you have one kid that's a black kid and one kid that isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the back of your mind, if you're okay, like we're gonna accept people talking. Well, it was private. So but if we just ignore that, and then you're like, okay, well that was in the private realm, and so he didn't do it. We're gonna let that go. But that in the back of your mind, you can't forget that.
No.
That is always going to be there. That's always going to be there. Always a question. So for that reason alone, I agree.
Always,
good.
Always. And that's the thing. Like, especially like, that's what I guess, 20, 25 years ago, wasn't even getting a thing. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't cell phones back then, so no one, like the only person that would have known this was the person that like crept up behind them and had seen it and like, oh shit, did that say nigga on the phone?
But nah, actually,
the phone there would have been no phone, so he would have had to go to a payphone to call his wife, and like these niggas is in here wilding. You know what I mean? But that's just the change in the world we live in now. Like now, you gotta watch your back now because you don't know who's watching. There's cameras everywhere. Everybody got a camera.
So check this though. So I found out about this Saturday, I believe. Yeah, Saturday night. Sunday, I take my daughter to Dick's. It was either Sunday or Monday. I take my daughter to Dick's. She wanted to get sweatpants or something. Who do I run into?
Golly. Of course.
Who do I run into? I run into, because he works at Dick's. He's always worked at Dick's. But now
Did you know
he's
that?
a full-time employee.
Did you know that?
Yes, I always knew that. I always knew that. But he was like, I'd see him there like every once in a while because he was a school employee.
Right.
But now presumably he's a full-time Dick's employee. I don't know. Whatever.
Like,
But
you know this nigga.
So no, I wasn't thinking of it. It didn't even cross my mind.
Right.
But I stroll in and sure enough, I see this dude. We look at each other.
Does he know that you know? At that point?
I would no, I can't say that he does, but I would just assume he probably at this point he thinks everyone knows.
Yeah.
Even if nobody knows, in his mind, everyone knows, right?
Because I mean, if it was me, I'd have been like, "Oh, what up, man?" Like until you shun me away or slap me in the face or whatever.
So I'll be honest. When I seen him, we looked at each other, and he seen me, and I seen him, and I turned around and I walked the other direction, and I wasn't happy about that, but I just wasn't ready.
You were caught off guard.
I was caught off guard, and I didn't want. No, simple as it. I just wasn't ready to deal with it. I didn't expect to see him that soon. I wasn't ready to just dismiss it. Right. Because at that point it wasn't confirmed yet. Like I had to do some digging.
Right.
Talk to some people just because, like I said, I was trying to find all these excuses not to believe it for multiple reasons. He's a good guy and I know him. My daughter likes him. Like a lot of people I was just finding there has to be some other explanation, but there just wasn't. There wasn't. This is true. It's what happened. But at this point I didn't know that. And so I wasn't prepared to have a conversation with him and talk to him about that. So, but at the same time, if it was true, I don't want to be sitting there conversing with this dude.
Right.
So I just wasn't ready to deal with that turnaround and left. So it is what it is. Full disclosure.
You could have went the old nigga route and like confronted him with the chest. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this is how we do it. This is what we doing now. Like in front of my daughter. Like, nah, man. Like, nah. You took. I mean. The fact that you feel bad about just turning and walking away just shows what kind of person you are. Like, you're still processing the fact that someone you felt as a friend. I know. I know this. I know this situation. I've had friends that I thought were friends turn around and be like, "Oh, that nigga ain't shit." Oh. Like I'm eating your mama's food. Like, what are you talking about? Like, your mama loves me. Like, you gonna tell how are you gonna be like that? So I feel for you, man, because that feels like it's just the feeling is like a straight stab in the back. Like I opened myself up, because I know for me it's hard to open up to new people and just to do things with new people. Like me and you know each other since we were 5. You know what I mean? So this ain't hard. You know what I mean? But Man, I feel for you, just because that's a shitty situation to be put in, and I don't know what I would have did if I'd have seen them like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not proud of it. I wish maybe I would have handled it better. Maybe like address the situation, but I just wasn't. And mind you, I'm with Vianna too.
Right.
I wasn't
right,
like trying
right,
to have that conversation, but maybe I should have. I don't know.
I don't think about it idea, man. I don't.
But,
I mean, just because he could have gaslit you and
true.
you could have said something that wasn't ideal, and then you accidentally haul off and punch him in the face.
True.
You know what I mean? In front of your daughter, and then she sees that, and that's not good.
That's
know
a good
what I mean?
point. Yeah, that's a good point. That's definitely
So,
a good
like
point.
I said, I feel like that was the best situation you could do. You exited the situation. Nobody, no harm, no foul. We can get some sweatpants somewhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We actually did get the sweatpants though. We did get the sweatpants. So, all right. So I want to change gears just a little bit. This is like I said, it's our first. This is like a trial run. Not going to be too long, but the next thing I wanted to ask you about was, so I think it's funny. It's not funny, but it's ridiculous to me that some people are actually shocked by this. I mean, I was shocked too, but it's almost like what I mean is a more complete thought is there's certain people, believe it or not, that think that racism is not even a real thing, and that I know it's funny. But let me
we can laugh about this
yes,
now.
You're right.
Having seen so much of it that we can now laugh about it. But 20 years ago, real things.
But I bullshit you not though. There are people to this day, right now, that think that racism is not a real thing. Like they just it's foreign to them. So what I want to do is I'm going to ask you kind of like share an experience
I got one
from
for
the
you.
past, and then also from recent, and like I'll start first as like an example. So
Okay.
I'll start first with my past one, and this one is actually like it means something to me because it's almost like a sign of like how far we've come. And so like I remember when I was young, not even that young, I was in junior high school. I can't remember what grade, maybe 8th. If I had to pick, I'd say 8th grade. But I was with Shane Burns and Curtis Jackson.
Curtis
Jackson. Shout out Curtis.
Shout out Curtis Jackson.
And
and Shane Burns.
And Shane Burns too. Yeah, my bad. But I've seen you recently, Shane. But I haven't seen Curtis in a long time. He probably thinks I like feel some type of way about him. But I love you, Kurt. You always been my man. But either way, we went to a party, and we went with Shane, and because Shane kind of, knew. No, take that back. We all knew everyone.
Right.
But Shane was like okay with the parents.
Oh, see, that's big.
And what I'm saying that is we literally show up to this party. We get to the door and the parent says, you can come in, but they can't.
Oh.
At the door.
Damn.
And the worst part was, I know exactly who it was. I know exactly the house it was. And to this day now, I speak to them probably every holiday. They, get my daughter gifts. And it's like full circle now. It's so weird. It is. It's weird. But and I'm not going to say the name. I'm not going to say the name.
We don't do
but
that.
if you're seeing this, I hope you know who it is. You might not even know who I'm talking about. But I talk to you to this day. But you might not even know because now everything's different. Put it that way. I'll leave it real short. So that was a long time ago.
Yes.
And then my recent story, I'm gonna say this was in Vianna's lifetime. So this was in the last 14 years. She was born. It was really recent. It was, let's say it was it was more recent than the last 10 years. And this person operates a business to this day right now in Altoona. Actually, full disclosure, I have a good relationship with this person to this day. I do. And that's why it's such a weird spot because the reason why I have a good relationship with this person is because they looked out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time, even the other people too. That's what I'm saying. It's such a weird, it's so weird. Like you don't understand some of the things and the situations that people that look like us have gone through. Especially
Sure.
growing up when it's different for people that live in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
That deal with racism because they're surrounded by other black people. So like they're going through it together. But like in this environment, there
was three black families.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like I don't mean to say this. I don't take this, but it's never mind, I won't even say it. But either way, so it's just a different situation. And so this person, when I was with, we are talking, and I'll summarize. I keep it real short. They're basically like, they were complaining about someone else assigning them work. And they're saying, I'm not gonna be this so-and-so's nigger.
Oh my.
And as soon as he said it, he realized what the fuck he said, and he looked and he said, oh my God, I'm sorry. That's what he said. Oh my God, I'm sorry. And I stood up, and my first instinct was not a good one.
I'd say not.
But at the same time, though, I realized that this person who I stand up across from, who's about to catch the hands, has done shit for me that he don't have to. Like, it's undeniable. Like, I'm not going to sit here and like spell it out because it will give up who it was. And I'm not trying to make anyone look bad. That's not what I'm trying to do.
No.
But it's evident that this person like fucks with me. It's as simple as that. He fucks with me. But I'm in this weird spot again. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like
how could right in front of me, dog?
Like, what the fuck, dude? And full disclosure, not very long ago, there's another person I won't mention that did the same thing. I was apologizing to him after I hit him. Like, you shouldn't have made me do that.
Right.
You understand? So it's like, but again, I'm gonna shut the hell up. I feel like, but there's just my examples. But if you can share your.
Oh man, I got so many.
So the first one.
How about you want the first one? The first time I ever felt racist.
Hold up. Good.
So yeah, the first time I can remember for sure, I was about 9 years old, and my mother had caught wind that a sector of the Klan was having meetings in and around this area. So she tells me, "You're not going to school today because the KKK's in town." And I'm like, I thought they were just a myth. Like my mother referred to some people as the KKK. Well, not all people, but some people. So that same day, I didn't go to school. I'm in my house sitting and watching cartoons, and I hear a car pull up. This is one on 16th Street in Sharp Avenue.
Yeah.
But it's on 16th Street. We're in the half a double.
Yeah.
The Red House.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I look out the window, and there are people throwing glass bottles like at our house, like in a pickup truck. I'm like, oh my God, is this what she was talking about? So I literally, there's glass all over the front of my house, and I'm just like, at 9 years old, I'm like, Jesus Lord, is this what she was talking about? Thank God I didn't go to school. You know what I'm saying? Because I was afraid. Because she works for a strict, so she wasn't even there. So I'm like, Jesus, is this what she's referring to as the KKK? So yeah, that was scary. Now, more recently, I'd have to say I was working at KFC probably about 2012. So I'm like 28-ish, something like that. No, 29. And I'm in there, and this lady comes in, and you could tell she was not interested in seeing my black face, because she waited for everybody but me to wait on her. She waited in the back. She just literally laid in the back. She sees white people in the back in the drive-thru doing stuff and things like that. She's waiting for one of them to come up on the opposite register, but it's just me up front because I'm just that good. You know what I'm saying? knocking people out, turn around, make their food, get them out. I was good at my job. So she bites the bullet after standing there for about 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
8 minutes. She stood in the back. She stood behind the line. Like, letting people go in front of her, waiting for somebody else to take care of her.
Damn.
She got 2 kids with her. So, first part of this, so she comes up and she wants biscuits instead of cornbread. That's fine. You do that all the time. Or cornbread instead of biscuits. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like she got like a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old starts tugging on his mom, and she's stop. Tugging on him again. All of a sudden, she looks down. She's like, "What?" She's like, "Mom, I can't believe they let black people work here." And the look on her face turned bright red, and she instantly just left because she was embarrassed, super embarrassed. Goes through the drive-through. Shit you not. Goes through the drive-through. The other black person that works with me, her name was Sheena, God rest her soul. She's there. She comes up to pay. She's right there. She freaks out on her because she's black too, and just takes off. Doesn't pay for her stuff, just leaves. She had enough of black people for the day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, black people were everywhere. And she flipped out. Like, I could hear her in the drive-thru talking about, "No, ain't no white people in here." And we laughed for like an hour because it was hilarious. It's like, first the kid, obviously you are not interested in black people. When your kid knows you're not, ask you a question about why black people are even here in front of his face. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just hilarious to me. And I know, like you said before, we can laugh about it now because these instances molded and shaped us to not want to, every time we hear a white person say nigger, punch them dead in their eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we're like, all right. You know what I mean? Like,
well, because
sometimes, I mean,
no. I agree
most times.
I agree. If in our best times, we don't let that shit bother you, because think about it. How much power does someone have over you? If they can ruin your entire fucking day, they could cause you to get fines, lose a job opportunity, do all the above over just saying words to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that to me is weak. That's weak to me. So this shit is cool. Like, being able to sit in our own space, not needing nothing from nobody.
Right.
Like this shit is cool. You could call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm gonna absorb it in my own house, reach in my own pocket, sit with my own motherfucking people.
Damn Skippy.
You know? I appreciate it, man. It's always good. This is just the first round. Maybe you'll see us again. I don't know. Shoot us a like, shoot us a comment. If it's positive, maybe we'll do it again. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Peace.
Hell yeah, man. That was easy.
For sure.